Hello and welcome. Right, I am down at the store, as you can plainly see. And I always make these comments which are just so, obvious. But I suppose you're just saying, "Well, here I am." I keep sort of saying this, and then thinking, "That's an odd thing to say." Well, not really. I've not started anyone's engines either. It is. It's just used to saying hello, aren't you? And this is where I'm situated at this precise moment. Yeah, it's true. I'm sort of one of those impasses as a content creator where you're like a bit unsure as to. I mean, I'm not giving in, but I also have always been quite mindful of the fact that. There's a lot, and there's multiple things to sort of say, and I just allow my thoughts to tumble all over the place, and instead of being a little bit more steady. And obviously I've watched many content creators before I even started to make a channel, but also nobody really wants to be a carbon copy of any other. But sometimes I must admit, I'm similar to JM Gaming. Sometimes people don't appreciate the things that you do, because it's like JM Gaming. He's not terribly successful as a map maker, and yet his maps are some of the best and most original I've ever seen. And yet he gets slated by a lot of people. And I know you think, well, why is this so? Why is such a good map maker that thinks that people sort of slated by everybody? And it's a bit of a strange one. Yeah, it is. But the other thing is, it all boils back down to school, who you were at school, and that some people are very successful and very good with presents and things like that, just naturally. And I think that is a skill that literally comes to you, as in you use it throughout life. And then it really is something that this is sort of, let's emphasize, but let's try our best to use this. Now, this is sort of, again, or let's just show it. Let's just go. If you was going to lift this, where would you lift it properly in real life? So let's give this the best chance we can to say, well, okay, we've been given this thing. This is the map maker's choice. Can we actually make it work? You'd have to be where the wheels are. It's the center location, so right, okay. The one thing I'm going to say is it's also, I've before using straps and things like that, I had a nasty habit, and I still do it occasionally, of ragging things where I just bash into them and pull them very graceless. And this likewise is going to be like that. I can push it out. To be honest, I've had quite a lot of practice at using mechanics and pushing things into the box because of the extreme series that I've done recently, so I am not a stranger to making these things work. But it still looks graceless. It's not nice. Didn't we buy it? We did indeed buy a baler. A brand spanking new as well. Still got a slight fault if you were to watch the bale coming out. The timings are wrong. I did have a bit of a go, but I've still not quite fixed it. So I need to... I was determined that I wanted to see another mod of how they did. So I looked at G866 because I'm a massive fan of his work. But I was also determined that I wasn't going to just copy and paste the timings that they've done. I don't know that I think G866 left his alone. BB Mods, however, he changed his timings. Now I wanted to do the same as BB Mods, but also I wasn't going to go in and just copy and paste the things that he's done that's taken him hours to work out. And I thought, I'm not doing that. I just don't think that's fair. I know if I'm going to do this, it's got to be my own work. I don't want to just copy and paste, because that then is taking the mick out of it. Not taking the mick exactly. It's not that bad, but yeah, I feel respect, so I'm not going to do it. Yeah, I'm literally mine's at the It's half done. I've changed the timings at the for when it releases the bale, but unfortunately the bits in the middle where it goes through the chamber I didn't, so it means it tries to burst through the back and it's not quite right. So yeah, it's not perfect. But let's just upgrade the horsepower on this as well while we're down here. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, I'm going to say, why is this not working? It's not working because you're not actually at the right one. Right, so then let's customize and knock that up straight up to about 170 something horsepower. 14.7, which is, if you said it was 15, it's not really though. It's sort of 29 horsepower. So it would be 76, 176 horsepower. We will indeed. Yeah, it just gives it that little bit of an edge. It's already a cracking tractor. I love this tractor. It is amazing. Very terrible steering, but then it's terrible steering for a reason. Yeah, it's because of the platform. It can't turn its wheels much more than that because of like it would clip. It does clip a little. Yeah, because you can see the wheels like that. That is going to clip in the plate. But I think what it does is when the platform is on, it doesn't. It only goes to about there, which means its steering is terrible. Now, that's one thing that the GTA is better for. It's still usable. It's still good, and I still love this a lot. But again, I think Giants have softened the, the plough furrows, so they're not quite as deep. So I think the GTA I might actually start having it again because I think it could actually survive on a not so hilly map. Right, there are a few things we're going to need that we may as well grab right now. Have we got a front? I don't think we've got a front loader, have we? No. One thing we do need is, I think, as is a wheel loader. Is it not? I think I want straps. I'm not going to manage with that. If we're like doing any lugging, no, we're not. We're chipping, aren't we? And then we're remaking into trees. That's what we're going for. Yeah, no, we could do that. I do think it's the most sensible, if I'm honest. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work any other way. Right, what will you stop going in the wrong one? Right, so we want the plough. Yeah, I was saying once I really and sort of in this my own way, that obviously I do things my own way, and it's not. I mean, the other thing is, if you're not doing map, I'm not oblivious to the fact that my channel could be much bigger if I did map reviews and things like that. The JM Gaming has come from nowhere and gone and well overtaken myself because he knew this and he did it. Whereas me, I just want to create content, and obviously now the modding as well. So it means that really you can create the most fantastic content, and I'm not saying I am. That's not at all what I'm saying. You can create the most fantastic content, and people don't know you're there, and like unless they're looking for Let's Plays, and I'm not sure Let's Plays are quite so such a big thing as they used to be a few years ago. Whereas, like obviously that's what I do, and that people will watch the names that they're like familiar with, like Miss Sealy P and people like that. So yeah, we'll do the front way as well. So it's sort of like I tend to lose people more than I gain them. I'm fairly stable. My channel doesn't lose many people. Most of you are really, and again, this is another reason why I don't really want to. I do wish I've tried to. It is a little better. It's not quite as bad as it used to be. I've got to get the center a little bit better. This is only for liming. Yeah, we're not fertilizing, spreading. We are going to need to order though a few things if we're going to go into this. They're definitely the big hoe, definitely. So we want to find that used. We've got a long time. We've got to use our cards well. Now we've ordered a couple of trailers. What else do we need? Now the other thing we need really is manure spreaders. Yeah, I think Hispanos is really very, very good value. Yeah, I like that one a lot. It's not too heavy either. I do like to use it in the cheater configuration. It's one of the few things I've ever had where I'd like think, that's really not a bad. It's a 24 meter for 44,000. Yeah, I think we will indeed. What's its normal? 34 cubic meters. Still not terrible. And we're also going to go slurry tanks as well. It makes sense. Now, I realise we haven't got any animals. Not yet. Not yet. And I do also know we could afford these brand new, but I've always been a massive fan of second-hand equipment. Always. And we don't need to like rush things. So why, when I'm not worried about having things brand spanking new, why do I care about not having them like this? And it's true. Roller, yeah, let's go rollers as well. Let's go for the BI one. It's reasonable. I don't know why. Yeah, it was a silly idea. The icon's awful, and I know it is, and I will fix it. It's one thing I'm trying to do is going to do all of my icons again. I'm going to use the icon creator by Giants. I did it a while back, but it was less than stellar, and it actually still didn't work. You know, the other thing we need to do is order a harvester. I'm going to go for my new one, which has got engine configurations and a slightly larger hold. So yeah, we're going to go for that one. Continuous search, and also a decent. Well, I think headers. I think we'll. No, we want BC Bueller's, don't we? Yeah. We've got to like order quite a lot of special stuff, which is further up, not further down. Yeah, so we need. Is it lower down? Then am I missing? I thought special headers were like near the harvesters and that. Yeah, they are. So we want the BC Bueller version. Fantastic. And we want that windrower version as well. Not the... no, not the grass mower. That's the one I always make the mistake. And that. And also the BC Bueller swather. If we're going to primarily do, we also need as well, and now this may, do we lease? No, we'll still order it though, I think. Do we go big? Do we buy our big one? Or do we, I think, to be honest, I think the 9 meter Pilatus. Now this is true. Now, to get me out of a bind, I have changed this. What I'm trying to do for Let's Plays where I'm doing organic, where I don't want fertilizer to be in. Now, the standard one of these, which is of course based upon the Optima. So if you took the original model that I took this from, it still says 2,660. That's because it's not got the tanks that I've got. Yeah, I've obviously, as we can all see, in both of my models, got additional tanks, quite big tanks as well. They're not like little tiny snippy ones, and they, like that was the original, and then I made a new one. Now, again, this one has got more storage, and it's obviously quite a lot different. And also the seed boxes at the front, which is where the seeds are, they are bigger too. They took me quite a while to actually get that bit right. But I also made a second one now, and you will see it only has the seeds capacity, but it's got like both compartments are now all seeds is being converted. So I've done 2 models is the way that I've handled this, rather than doing change where I can like present both options. Now, I do want to do that, but I've tried for a few weeks to do that. Not a long time, but like that's what I want to do, is this for the time being until I'm going to make another model, the Mark III, where I will be working with that, and then it will become the Mark III. So then there will be 3 versions. We'll have the original Pilatus. I am also, though, going to bring in the features that I learned to all of the 3 of the models. And I could. The other thing is, it's 3 mods that have got the potential to like drop one of my mods into the game every time we do this. So again, I'm not cheating, but I am weighting the dice, you could say. It's true, right? So we've done that. We bought the seed tanks. Got that rollers we've ordered. Is there anything else that we need, like transport? Yes, this is true. I've got 2 of these. I've got to remove one of them. Yeah, I've got them in 2 separate places, pulling from 2 separate mods. So yeah, this one And this is exactly as the games, just with bigger capacity. There's nothing special about this. No, let's buy it. It's just a bargain anyway, so it's not like it's one of those that you can't really afford. Let's grab this little lot. We've got enough tractors, I think, to do all of this. I think. Yeah, I don't think there's too much for us to grab. Yeah, this is just about centre of gravity. I think it's side things, the wings that I think they are big enough. It's just they're not if they've got different tyres on. But then again, I think a lot of these type of things only allow for the basic tyres. Like when you go doubles and triples, and you've got like special things like this, I don't think it really allows for that type of thing when you've got those cages, unless obviously. Oh, that is a point. How do we? We've not got enough. You are wrong. Yeah, it's true. I was. Okay, well, I stand corrected. No, there is a way you can do it. There is. I do, actually. I've just remembered that actually, although it's going to be a little bit, a bit strange, that actually this is quite a special thing, because it does have like a pass-through section, so you could sort of just drop that like that and go great. Yeah, let's make sure we've got the weight. And in that's the thing, obviously, true realistic physics, if you put something like that on the nose, it's going to make it heavier, so therefore you need to compensate for that by like having a bit of weight on the back, like say an Anderson, and then it will actually work. I think it passes through both. It's a very, very good bit of kit. I think this is again a Black Sheep modding type one as well. Now we may have to lower this to actually get the thing to. Sure, it passes through both. Maybe it only passes through one way. Okay. Maybe it does actually then. Okay, well that I didn't realise. Let's try grabbing it first then. Is this heavy enough? So we tried... trying to think of the mental gym. Now, I'm absolutely tired, really tired. You've not got much left in the tank 'cause it's the end of the week. I'm like this a lot of the time, I've got to be honest. Since COVID as well, it really has knocked the stuffing out of me. But again, you've still got to do the things that you enjoy, I think. So I do try. No, okay, so we need to go t'other way. I thought we'd already tried that way. What? Maybe this is one of those implements you can't do. Maybe it is actually. We'll give it one last shot. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But you can link most things with this. I've done it loads of times. I did find out by mistake once. I mean, it would be brilliant if you've got a 10.5 meter planter or seeder. It would be perfect. Because you could plough and like, but again, obviously the stones would be a bit of a pain. But it's just Right, okay, so it's as if that's an implement that goes behind it. That's what it's supposed to be, which does make a certain amount of sense. But only like when you've discovered this by other means. Yeah, I can't really. Right, so then we need to escape from the town. I'll take this one because it's going to be awkward. It's very, very long now. And the AI would not manage terribly well with that. As we all know, they're a little bit special. In a... You've got to look after them type of way, not... oh, I don't know that... Oh, no, it can. They can see it. Fantastic. It's all about the angles. Sometimes you can get away with quite a lot. Other times, not so much. Oh, wow. Well, that was a quick pop. I'm not seeing any updates, so it is what it is. It's not like been improved recently or anything, so... we definitely have some traffic issues on the map, but then again, it is like brand spanking new. Now then, so... No, we can go straight across roughly. Oh, this is the road we came down, so there was another couple of options. Let's try the other way that we missed. We seem to be leaving them flying because we're a bit faster than they are. Let's... Oh no. Oh no. Oh my life. Oh. Okay. I did say they were special. I did. In my defense, that's sort of what I was trying to say. They're a little bit special. In that kind of way. Right, let's go this way. And see another way to get to the farm. Farming Simulator Signature Edition. No. We played for the Platinum or whatever, one of the highest things with all the extras, and the little extras are not worth it. They're really not worth doing. Now this is the way, yeah, this is the second way. You can go to that square blob and then take a left. I remember you are... Oh. You can't. No, I don't think you can. That's like a... And yet, I don't think you can. I think it's like a... I don't think it's a teleport. I think you're going to hit the wall and then you're going to regret going in there. So let's just physically go with little old me, because I think like this is a wall. Yeah, it is. I am right. Which is a bit odd, because sort of like it suggests on the map. Yeah, it's true. Where does that... Okay, well, this is a little bit odd. Let's see. Can we sort of... Ooh. Okay, I'm going to have to tab. No, I'll map jump. I don't have to tap. I can actually manage without doing that. Let's just... We're going to have to, like, really scrunch back. Oh, it's a bit close. Oh. Right, okay. I hate scrunching like that. I think we might have to go across the field edges, because although I know that the road is up there, it's not particularly good for us to go up like that. So, wow. Weight on the front is definitely heavy. Doing a seesaw. Ooh, and I've got to go. Oh, the tree's in the way. And it's not our tree. Oh, I hate it when you do this. You know, obviously I'd got the plan. Thought, oh, let's go across that square blob on the map that we saw yesterday. Gonna have to go into the field as well, because the Anderson's going to wallop the tree. Yeah, my bad. Let's just try and go down a headland. Or maybe let's just go back a little and retrieve the worker that's lost. Which I'm not blaming him. This is all my faults, definitely. Oh wow, I don't know that was my fault. We did scrunch a little, but we didn't really do that. Now he will go straight through the imaginary wall, or actually he won't. But let's just get this. We could take a left down here and like avoid destruction of someone else's field, even though we all know that I can't destroy it, but I would be if I didn't have the magic that we're allowed to do this without any destruction. So then, if we were going to do this again, this is the road we need to come down. Note to self. Okay. We are quite close, actually. Let's just take this one and come back for the other two. Yeah, we need to lime as well. I did notice as I was like leaving... it seems to be a pattern. Kevin said something a few weeks ago. He says you've been poorly. I have actually. It is true, and it's not just that. It is a health thing. In so much as my health, I've got high blood pressure. It's true. It doesn't particularly affect things terribly badly. I still manage to do this well, but I do seem to there's a pattern that I've noticed myself, and it's not because I can't. What I do is I tend to, at the weekend, I will switch to another map because I can't. My blood pressure, I think, goes quite low, and then you can't cope. It's because it's all part of you as a human being. You've not got the energy or strength to cope with things that, when you're at better strength, that you can do. So therefore I go to a new map where the challenge is small again, and this seems to be the pattern. So it means that I'm more suited to short runs than I am to do full Let's Plays, and it is true. I've got one full Let's Play at the minute. I'm hoping to finish New American, because that means something to me. It was a really a lovely map. Let's go right to the end. We can actually go down here. In fact, actually, we need this in a little while. Apologies for going over the field. All right, okay, let's. Yeah, we need this to take some of this patch of trees out to make this into a. Yeah, so it's sort of acknowledging the fact that as you sort of grow older, that you can't really quite manage what you used to be able to do, and I'm coming to that juncture where I'm realising that I can't. I'm not ducking out or anything like that. It is, as I said, it's the same reason why I don't do map reviews and all the rest of it. It's already covered well, and it's not an excuse. I could still carry on and still do that, and I think I'd be good at it because obviously I've got the technical knowledge with my skill sets to actually do that, and I think to do it well. But again, I don't want to. I create content. I like doing the and again, I play it from a different sort of angle as well. I'm not a storyteller like my silly P. I want the tractors, the equipment, and the productions to tell a story, and then I hope to present that in a way. But obviously, also I'm trying to play the game, which as well is another sort of factor that is. Now then, we need to do the baling, don't we? That's the biggest thing. So then, yeah, we do. So we want. Now, one of these did have the baler. And it is this very one. Right, so the first thing we need to do is not forget, is to go to the one size. Yeah, I've only got this one size. I wanted like bigger bales, but I didn't want them silly. I just wanted to make them one size bigger than normal, because I didn't want it to be like silly sizes or anything like that. So then let's field 17 first. Are we gonna I think we'll do this in a time. I think it'll be me. Yeah, I'm gonna do this myself. Right, so I'm gonna say my words. Let's just get this little lot done. Yeah, let's do automatic drop as well. I often forget this to. Oh, it's on already. I must have accidentally done it. Right, okay, so then let's say my words. No, in fact, no, we'll chat. Yeah, because it's true. I don't think I'd finished saying what I was saying. So I'm sort of acknowledging that things are changing within myself, what I can actually sort of cope with, which means I'm going to do a lot of Let's Plays. But obviously the other thing is I do upload them in a linear way. So it's like Hazelnut. I did that when it was released. Well, it's been out for 2 or 3 months now, and I'm releasing it now. It's being uploaded as we speak. And also the North German country, which also likewise, that I did that when it was released. Well, it's on its second update now again, so my release is changed because obviously I've got a lot, and I do quite a few of these small runs, and sometimes you do quite a few sessions because you can do, at the beginning when it's quite possible to do that. But it's also more about acknowledging that as a person and as a human being, it's your what you're doing is changing, and acknowledging the fact that actually, you've got to do things differently than you've done in the past. And that's sort of what I'm acknowledging, really, is that I'm changing, and I can't cope with some of the things that I would have done a while back, because I just literally, my health is not fantastic. It's not terrible. It's not, but the biggest thing is that obviously my work, I work very long hours, and it does take its toll. And obviously, as long as I'm trying to do a 4-day week, and not just for the channel, but yeah, it would make quite a huge impact. But again, I was promised that this would happen nearly a year ago, and it still hasn't happened. So again, I'm almost feeling to the point where I think I can't afford early retirement like a lot of people. I haven't got a mortgage to pay. That's one thing that we did. I think it was a year ago. Which paid off my mortgage, which is and I realise that is a really good place to be. I don't like doing car leases, so I insist on buying my cars outright. They're never anything super special because cars are expensive, but they are. I have a good car. It's just not brand spanking new or anywhere near new. It's an old, worn, but lovely. I like it, but what I mean is, just giving a bit of backstory really to your life. So obviously I wanted the YouTube channel to be successful, and I considered myself a normal person, but when I really thought about it, when I sort of thought, well, the channel's not growing very well, and it sort of makes you look at yourself in the mirror, and I'm like, you are a bit of a geek. You were never a success at school like some people. They're just those people who people just naturally gravitate towards. But you are what you are. You're not going to change, and I'm proud to be the geek that I am. So I'm quite happy with knowing that I am the geek that I am. But I also realise it is that you guys and gals who do watch is special. I mean, because you put up with me. And it really is that true. I don't want to look to see what happens, because this is the messy bit when it releases. Yeah, no, and I mean that in a good way. I'm not saying special like I did the workers. That was a different kind of special. That was not so special. You guys and gals deserve a medal for putting it on me, and it is very much appreciated, because I do realise I have got a core set of viewers. As bad as it used to be, but it's still bad. We ought to have a bail pusher, but we didn't have any. Well, we could have got a bail pusher. We could, actually. Yeah, so I am very grateful for the fact that you stalwart supporters, Kevin especially, I've got to mention him specifically because he tirelessly works in the background, putting likes on, which is very much appreciated, that he does do that kind of thing. It's really nice when you've got support like that. I have had more comments recently, which is nice as well. Again, some people pass through and there are, like 2 or 3 comments, and then you don't hear from them again, and then other people. Kevin's again another one who his comments are regular, and I really do appreciate that. I would love to hear from all of you, and it is true as well. If you're making a mistake as a content creator, you rely on your viewers and subscribers to sort of tell you, because you do get things wrong. You're not like, you try new things, and I'm trying my best to do the buying and selling, but also to make it so it's got a set of rules, or it's not. There's been a few Let's Plays where I'm down at the store all of the time, and the buying and the selling seems to be the Let's Play, to quite a big extent, and that was never really my intention, but it does have that habit, because you're going to look at the sales quite frequently. And again, I'm also doing some Let's Plays now where I don't do the sales, where I probably only do them for the first 6 months, and then we don't do it. I'm trialing both. But again, because the channel's small and you guys and girls are so supportive, I don't know whether it's a good or bad or what rule. So I really would appreciate your input on whether or not it's too much. Again, I have toned it down, so it depends on what Let's Play you would tell me it's too much, because I have sort of got a set of rules now for the extremes. And again, it is true, I do play the settings harder than almost any other content creator that is out there. I like to challenge myself. So this £100,000 start, or $100,000 or euros, whichever currency we're in, it's always on hard economy, and I can't stress the fact that there are not many people who ever play on hard economy. And yet I do realise, as I've got used to it, that I make it look easy. It's not, but you make it look easy because you get used to it, and you no longer feel the pain of the terrible prices that you get on hard economy. It's true. Again, I do my productions, but my productions, they too, the price structure is not, you know, like really stupendously good. You know, I mean, I try to do it as if it's, well, the game sort of sets the full price. What I mean is my prices are lower due to the hard economy thing that I always play in, but some of the things are quite high end. I mean, I do love using the chipping factory. Now, I must remember to call it the chipping factory, not the boarding factory, because it uses high-end products. And again, it was based upon another modder's mod, not to steal their thing. I wanted to tweak it slightly different because I didn't want to do quite what they did. And you know, but he did give me the idea that the chipping factory and the coloured wood chips that you put on your garden, that was his idea. It's a natural product, so of course it is something that, you know, you can do and would do because it is done in real life. So, you know, but let's get ready. Yeah, and the other thing is I realise as well, I've got a terrible bad habit of like wandering and not finishing off things that I say, and it is true. And again, and you will put up with this, which is nice, because some of it is an age thing, and the other thing is the fact is because you're concentrating on two things. Yeah, you're concentrating on, yeah, I've got to make that better, that's just really messy. I'd like to do an end turner as well for this, like on the Rotana. Yeah, I think that would be a nice feature for this, so it would spin them on their yeah, to do what the Rotana does, so they're like on their face, which then makes them easier to, well, they don't roll. We all know that the one nasty thing about round bales is if it's a hilly map. I was on yeah, I am on one, the very Let's Play I was talking about, where it's a full turn, because I've set myself a challenge of being 7.7 million in debt, and that we cannot leave the Let's Play until the debt is paid. Now, we're sort of like in the this will see us in a Let's Play for longer than I have been in a Let's Play for a long time, but again, it's doable, and it is the Let's Play. That's the entire idea. You know, that you can't duck out. I want to see this finished, you know, this huge debt. And we're not doing badly. I've just literally come away from a bumper thing where, again, we use it. I said because it was such an extreme that I needed to pull out all the stops. I said no holds barred. Still hard economy. I'm not like ducked out and made it easy on myself by making the prices better or anything like that. Organic, because I again like this one. I like the fact it's got a slight bonus for 17% bonus for doing organic stats, which again in real life is probably about right. I could have been more generous, but again, I'm quite happy. I think that what we've done is, again, trying to be with all of my mods to make them realistic, which is why I do quite a lot of testing, and I'm sort of at a stage now where, again, I'm going to release them to the mod. I'm just ironing out. My cow barn is about ready. I'm hoping over this weekend, because I just need to do that with the tester. If it comes back perfect on the tester, then as far as I'm concerned, I've done everything. And if it gets released on the mod when Giants throw this one out, then I think I'm going to lay up my hat as a modder, apart from for myself. Yeah, which is a bit of a shame. I always wanted to share the mods, but Giants are the ones that call the shots. You can't go against, if your thing goes against their vision of what they want to be released on the mod hub. And because the reason I'm saying this is the mods I'm going to release will be perfect from a point that they will have no errors, and there's things that I've addressed on even the cow barn. But there's then also, you've got, I look at it from Giants' perspective. I've done internal storage. They don't like that anymore. But I've done it because this game was fraught with problems, and still sometimes the manure things fail. So I've put the old school back things of doing it. And they know that. When they look at a mod, they know exactly what you've done. They are the experts, as JM Gaming said to me a few months back. You know, like we have to try to learn how to use the tools that the Giants people know how to use. Not only know, but they absolutely are experts at using them. They have tools that, as a modder, I haven't got. They have very expensive software that can do real fancy sort of things, and I haven't got that at all. You know, and I'm not. Blender is a fantastic bit of kits, which is, and I'm getting better at it. So I recognise this. But like the cow barn, I've tried to toe the line. I had some quite nasty mistakes, which made the mod bigger than it needed to be, and it clashed with a warning that Giants give about the size of. I don't want to get too technical because it gets. Let's just say how it is. Right, basically, all digital mods have a polygon count, sometimes called a tris count, which really means triangles. The more complicated a shape, the more triangles or polygons that any model will have, and there's a warning polygon count at 250,000 trisses or polygons, however you want to call it. So this is the number that Giants have said. If you go beyond this, then it starts to, you know, be a bit bad, and it starts to muck around with loading times and things like that. So mine was up to 750,000 trisses. That's just like insane. So of course I was talking to the AI. How do I didn't even know this trisses existed. What is this polygon count about? And more importantly, how do I combat this polygon count? How do I reduce the polygons in my mod? And it was saying, well, circular things, they take a lot more trisses than square things. So okay, I thought, well, okay, well, what I'll do then is I'll change every single post in my cow barn to a square post instead of a round one, thinking that was really where the real error lay in the thing. You can go into the model and turn polygon counts on, so you can click on a certain section of your mod and it'll tell you how many polygons there are in that particular section. So before checking that properly, I should have done it that way, I realised, but as a modder, this was a brand new aspect of the game that I'd never seen before as a modder. You know, like, well, I didn't know anything about polygon counts. I didn't know anything about. Again, there's a lot of things as a modder you learn. You don't just know everything with modding. So again, this is something else that I learnt, and when I changed them all, it was just ridiculous. It was still 686,000 trisses, so I'd knocked about 70,000 for doing all of these the old round posts into square posts. And I'm like, what can I do now? I've done most of the model. And then I clicked on my lights section, and it said something like 680. It would have been 630,000 were in my lights, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's my lights that are massive. And then I realised I wanted to do chain links, which is lots of little circles. Now, if you remember what I said, circles are at a quite high cost. Well, if you imagine a chain of lots of circles, each chain, and you'd got about 70 chains, it all became finally clear to me what the problem was. I thought, oh my life. I thought, it's my lights. My lights that are the issue, and they're almost all of this tris count, this polygon count, are all in the lights. So I thought, well, okay, well, we can do something about it. So I said to the AI, well, what can I do? And it said, well, you can do what a lot of modders would do. No, I don't want to get too technical on this. Basically, it says, if your lights obviously are going to be high up, which means they're not really going to be as visible as if it was right on the floor level or something like that. It says there is a trick for you to present a low poly model that is not as expensive in polygons as if you were to do a circle, which is lots and lots of polygons. So I thought, okay, well, I'm working with hexagons a lot anyway, so what about hexas? So I went back to Blender, made some little hexagons, and then tried that, and it reduced the count by about 2/3, which was quite formidable. But then it said, well, you can also do another trick, another modding trick of like presenting a low poly model where you need to do your own normals the proper way. And I was like, oh my life, this is going to be absolutely humongously terrible, very, very deep way of doing things. And was I right? Absolutely. But I had the AI's help. Now, this is one thing it was good for, because it can be a teacher, step-by-step teacher, and it did that very well. Modding, not so much. I'm sort of like leaning away from using the AI at all, except for syntax checking, just to check that I haven't left any like trailing, or I've forgotten to close a bracket or things like that to make a mod work, which would stop it working in game. So I'd just do that, and that works very well as a syntax check. But it always wants to do more. It's very helpful, but like it's not. No, it makes things up as it goes along, and it literally changes syntax and does weird things, which is a modder I can like think, nah, he sees what's he done there, and I'll like pick it up and but it's a bit dangerous, because sometimes you're in an area of modding that you're not very good at. Like I'm doing design configurations and I'm not an expert at that, so I'm like trusting the AI, and then it gets it wrong, and it's just a nightmare. And then so what I'm doing now is I'm going into similar models that Giants have done, and I see how Giants did it, and then I'll copy that syntax myself, and I find that much more reliable than relying on the AI that is really quite terrible but very confident, and it sort of tries to convince you that it knows everything. It doesn't. It's a load of rubbish sometimes. It is absolutely terrible. So I'm using Gemini. I've used Gemini the most, Google's, and I'm quite comfortable with it, and I know it well. I did use Copilot to begin with, but Microsoft insist upon using your resources on your machine, and like it was slowing my work laptop down, so I switched to Gemini, because Gemini uses Google's resources, as in its compute cycles. It doesn't use my processor, my memory. It uses Google's, which is obviously, I'm appreciative of that, because it does cost Google to do this, but again, I've got used to it, and it really is a good tool for many sort of reasons. Now Giants are clamping down on AI for pictures and things like that, which again, I've said this a long time ago, I'm no problem with making the pictures for my mods myself. The AI only speeds things up because it's got access, and it also creates pictures on the fly. So if you were to hunt a picture down, it might take me 2 hours to make an icon or a store icon, because I need to and also, yeah, there's sometimes you got to pay for pictures, which is ridiculous. There's not so many like free ones as there used to be years ago. Google Pictures are not like it used to be, where it often just hosts other people's pictures, where you used to be able to like have loads of Google Pictures. Like I know there was a lot of malware being pushed into pictures again, and I know Google's aware of this, but yeah, it's not so easy to get free pictures now. So although Giants' intentions are like, I don't know what their intentions are, I would have thought a game that was for computers would embrace AI, but like it's not. I mean, there is quite a few companies who some are for AI and some are against it. I'm neither one nor the other. Having used AI most extensively, I realize it is not as good as people think it is, because I use it all the time, and it's it talks the talk. It's a very good talker. I can understand why people, even doctors and things, sometimes will use it like a bit of a buddy to help them with certain things, and it can be quite good. Again, it's like the old 80s adage, which was garbage in, garbage out. The AI has been used for some quite good things, but this is the real crux of the matter. Any program, which is only a program, that is all it is. Any program is only as good as the input that has been given to it. Now obviously they're trying to improve that by asking us to use it, which is going to provide data for them to sift through and then improve the model. And but it's very good at talking, and that's my point. It really is. It will convince you that it is an expert in all fields. Well, it's not. No, it's not. It's fibbing. It really is. And it mixes things up and stuff like that. And you soon become apparent that actually, but it is useful. That's what I'm trying to say. But just don't expect it. Yeah, they warn you themselves that, like, well, Gemini can get things wrong. You think? They certainly can. Absolutely. Do not trust it one bit. And it will convince you that it's an absolute expert and that you should trust it. Well, don't. You can't. It's a testing thing, a testing bed for all these big companies to get it right. And then, trust me, what is going to happen is it's going to get, I mean, they're already pricing. I mean, there are, I was on I tried a paid one for a couple of months. But again, actually, I've gone on to, I'd say, the Gemini one, and this is again a free one, and has got, yeah, again, I think that if I went onto the tier that I would need, the expense would be it would be just more than the channel could bear. So I'm not like, so again, I'm not bothered. I'm not asking for anything, and I'm not giving any trade secrets out that I care about Google knowing that I say. So I'm quite happy to stick on the free tier. But yeah, I also fully acknowledge, because JM Gaming showed me a warning that he'd got for his AI generated pictures of people that he's done on the contract system on his map, and obviously Giants have, like I said, be warned, in the future we are going to enforce policies that no AI content. So yeah, I can sort of understand some of it, and yet in other ways, as I said, for things like pictures on store icons and the mod icons, I don't really think that really hurts. But again, if Giants are enforcing it, yeah, because the one thing that has come to my attention recently is that when Gemini creates a picture, it puts the Gemini logo in the right hand corner on each picture, and I'm like, so it's sort of like a signpost to anybody that, well, this was done by Gemini. So you know, in my mod icons, I didn't used to, it's only a relatively new thing, but it's something that obviously now that I'm like, well, if Giants are going to enforce this, then you need to, like, not, you know, like, do this. So yeah, I'm going to have to change the way that I do things. Which again, as I said, it'll take me longer is all. I mean, I've done most of my placeables quite early on, and my icon sets are all there for all of those. So I've got loads of icons, which is a good place to be. But if I was doing it now, then it would present problems. So yeah, I mean, I've done mine a long time before this Giants warning. But again, I don't know whether they'll like say, well, we know your icons are like done by AI, you know, and so therefore we want them all remaking. Then that would be a problem. But again, not an insurmountable one. I could spend a day or two, you know, going around the free pictures and do that. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I could look at my own icons as they are right now, and I can just, you know, look for similar icons. It would just take me. Again, you also learn sites where there are free pictures. The free pictures, of course, are never as good as the paid ones. We all know this. You know, like, it's not rocket science. They all want to make cash. They all want to make money off us. And, like, how important is it to us to do something and pay for that is the thing. I mean, again, I've never made a penny off YouTube. Not a single penny. I can honestly say that. Even though I'm... because my videos don't go out to enough people. You know, with the 10 to 30 people who watch each one of my videos, which I used to have a hang up about. I did, but now I'm quite happy with that. It is what it is. I am Marmite. I know this, and I thank you all for putting up with me. It's yeah, I'm obviously doing the content, and you're watching, and that's all that matters. It's as simple as that. I get to do what I enjoy doing, and hopefully some of you enjoy the content. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep sort of coming back and watching, which is brilliant. I love it. Because there have been moments where it did matter, and I was crushed because I was, like, not as successful as I hoped. I would not got a fantastic channel like Mr. CLP, and again, I realised that I'm a small channel And like, you know, you think, well, I've been going, yeah, I was working it out as well. The AI said my channel was something like 8 years, but I've only been doing the content for, I think, for about 3.5 years, which is still quite considerable. But obviously what I mean is it does take a long time to be discovered, because it is a bit like that, being discovered. You know, like, I know myself with some of the videos I've done, I'm like, yeah, but that was really special. And you're like, yeah, but no one knows it was really special because no one knows you're there. You know, some of the things that I've done and the exploits I've done on the game sometimes, there are a few really sort of special things where I did it on a Let's Play, something that was quite unique. And they're not, you know, like, but you sort of realise that, well, I've never seen any other content creator do that. And you think, well, no, but they're discovered. So nobody knows you're there. It's just one of those things. And it is true. I accept that now. You know, until someone discovers you, if they ever do. And the other thing is, you know... Yeah, I mean, yeah, because what it was... Frithgar, he is a really cracking content creator. I don't know if he still creates content. And I know he did it because it suits him down to the ground, because his wife was poorly. So it was really... I want the Unimog, I think, actually. There's a truck icon. Yeah, so let's just drop those two at the front. If I just drop that one, and then drop this one, but a little bit further away. And then let's grab these bells. And I would say that's probably a session. I think I've bent your ears for long enough. But I just thought I'd give you a bit of a background, really, to you know, the way things are with me, myself, which is the channel in so much as, you know, like, I'm the one who releases the content. Let's just pick that up a minute. Yeah, it's I am finding it far easier to just like switch at the weekend to like a new Let's Play, which means, and then I'll do a few sort of sessions, like 6 or 7. Well, it does mean I'm going to wear a lot of content, but they're all mostly going to be short runs. Some of them I'll do more. If I really like a map, I'll do like, say, 16, which means it's far more than a couple of days. And then other ones like, yeah, Castle and Leon was a good one that I sort of consider. And again, I really said a long time ago about Hagenstadt and stuff like that, but I then went away. So I'm not sure, obviously I don't like to be a liar, but I did sort of go away and then I came back. So I'm still struggling to pick up some of the older things. And I've sort of discovered the maps like, say, Castle de Leon that I'd like to do more than Hagenstadt, which I did like, but again, I might just leave it as a short run. Right, so then I think, where are we going to stick this? Are we going to stick it straight in the silo? So the other thing is we need to know is, are these rock breakable? Now, I have actually got my own rock breaker, but it doesn't actually work yet. No, I've only half done the model. It looks like it's finished. So if we look in the... I think I've even got one in the front loader tools as well. I think I did all of them. I think I did every single one. I'd got one. No, it didn't actually. Oh, okay. Oh, no, I did. I was going to say, I'm sure I did. Yeah, so it's obviously got the different attachers. But it hasn't, is my point. If you look closely, the attachers are not on the back. It's not got the model. Now, it doesn't need to have the model, but I want to make these so they do. So I'm going to grab these skid steer attachers and that and put them on. It's got it in the XML, but they don't actually attach. And I'm missing something. Why that? And I think it's the attachment points, which I will bring in. And then this will work. And then this one will be ideal for this. I'm hoping to get this... a bit of work done over the weekend where I can actually get these done. So I've got one in telehandler tools 2. Yeah, I went for the handheld ones and they were awkward to use. And Yak has done it actually. So I haven't done it in telehandlers then. I thought I had. Huh. I thought I could have sworn, and I know we've seen it in skid steer because it all started in skid steer. This I'm sure I did because we saw it in skid steer. Ah, okay. Well, we saw it was in skid steer, so maybe I've only done it in front loader. I could have sworn I did. Maybe the categories are what I've not done it, because it is in all of those. If we go back to that front loader, you can see that it did have multiple attachments. Yeah, so I have. I must remember those as well. I've not used them in ages. I love using the stone pickers. Keep forgetting I've got them. Yes, I think I've only done it in the front loader tool section, but if you go to it, you can see it. I can easily do it. It's just that I've only just started to do it. So skid steer, front loader, wheel loader, Italian. So I have got all four, all of them. Yeah, is it 4? Skid steer, front loader, telehandler, wheel loader. 4. Yeah, so I've got the 4 different sort of things, and I can put it in the 4 categories. But being as it's not finished yet, I'm not doing that until I finished it. So yeah, I'm hoping, because this one obviously has got lots of rocks, it would be nice to actually get this done so it actually works. So bales picked up. We will, yeah, there's a lot of work. We need to take all of these trees that are in the way. Even this one is probably in a prime state for you could put a production on this corner. Certain ones like that, I'm never going to put a production there, so I'm not going to take any trees down that are like just beautiful. You know, they're just adding to the farm's beauty. But there are obviously a lot of them over here are ours that land all the way from the edge of the field, actually. Here, all of that lot behind over there, we will chip and then regurgitate into wood, because a lot of these they're just not trees that you can chop down. And I've got to be honest, using a chainsaw with a modern way of doing this is awful. It is vile, and there's bits of wood that slip all over the place, and that cutting down the side is much harder than it used to be, and it's messy. It doesn't work properly either. That's my point. I like Giant's physics for most things, but the tree husbandry on FS25 was really rubbish. I can't say any more than that. It's just terrible. Right, so then we've got this large wooden beams, 5,000 litres, which is rather big. I would imagine we just have to go over the sell point, though, to sell these. And we ought to be looking how these large wooden beams, how much they get us. Large wooden beams, 14,000. That's now for hard economy. That's good. So March is actually they're at top price, and it's in August, so it must be one of those prices that doesn't fluctuate much. So do we make, is this a special sawmill then? Large wooden beams. So this is special. This is not well, it could be a special one. It does look to me like it's not a bad set of cycles, so I'm quite looking forward to doing this. So that again is, we need to clear, the next job is to clear some trees so we can actually make this farm into what it is. It's also a bit of a wood place, so when we've cleared that corner of some of the trees, let's just send the drones up and have a bit of a look at what our playground. Obviously, we've got to clear our fields, and we're going to so from that entire section, from there actually, yeah, that section there, all the way down there to there is all ours. I think, is that bit of land there ours as well? Oh, wow, that was interesting. Let's have a bit of a look. We press 16. How far does it go? So you really just go to the edge of the farm, and there, that castle. Or something. A burnt building. It's a funny looking castle, Mr. Smith. A castle? Well, yeah, it did look like a castle to begin with. So, okay, interesting. Now, this kind of thing is a unique mod that takes a long time for someone to make, yeah, unless it's a prefab where someone else has taken a lot of time. But map makers are. This is one thing I do admire about the modding community, well, I always have done, and that's the fact that they band together, and there's these prefabs that they're putting onto the mod hub now, so they can all download each other's work and work with, so they don't have to create every single model for every single map over and over again. I know JM Gaming uses them. He was on about it, the prefabs. So yeah, it's quite amazing. I love it. So there's a lot of these stones that I'm presuming are the stones you break up. They look very much like it. So we've got a lot of shifting of stones. We've got a lot of shifting of the woods. And then we're also going to gain a bit of land. Now, so 15 then. How much of these patches of land with bits of trees that you could make quite reasonable when you consider how much a field is? Actually, the fields are very reasonable too. Yeah, but there's a lot more land there. Yeah, some of it unusable, of course. You could probably only go up to about where that thing is, and you'd have to hide it, I think. Yeah, so again, when you consider that as prime real estate with greenery on it, so we've done that about in not a bad place. So we could easily stick the ends of the fields here and make that into a field and make these 3 into a field. And then not bad size field. 21, we could, I did notice that, so you actually get oh wow, that is actually quite nice to know. Yeah, so when these parsnips have been done in a month or 2, we could buy the field. Yeah, we could. So yeah, we've got a lot of work to do. Another thing I've just thought about what we need would be a stone picker. Yeah, because I always do the ploughing method. I much prefer to do that. So stone pickers is what we want. And I do have a favourite. That's my second favourite. I do love the black sheep modern one. That is not going to be removed. I am hoping at one point to do that. I did borrow Black Sheep Modding's arms for a weekend, and I thought, nah, I'm not doing that. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it from scratch. I'm not going to take another. Got too much respect for Black Sheep Modding to actually pull a stunt like that, so I left it, and I'm going to do it myself. I've got one half made, but again, it's actually hard to do. Black Sheep's arms, they're done very well, and you can just drop them in place and they work, whereas you can't do that with most things. He's worked out all of his angles and everything, but I'm still not going to do it. Mine are going to be completely different. This is my absolute favourite by an absolute favourite modder of my BDB SSB. We're down the arm collision, although I don't think it matters for this. That is my absolute favourite stone picker. And I think it's fairly realistic. I love the way he's done the arm collisions. Obviously, Mac Trucker did one in FS22. But he'd got the arm collisions and it was always going into the ground and it was always causing issues and it stressed you out. And I thought, so I'm glad in a way he has not actually brought it into FS25. Unless, again, he did the same as BDBSB. And to be honest, I would willingly go for Mac Truckers and sort of think, well, his design is just as good. It was only the fact it went into the ground that caused issues, and BDBSSB actually recognised that and sort of really went the whole hog. So we pulled in our crop, our little bit of crop. We need to clear some space, put some productions down, and spend some money. Again, we need to be doing this in stages. Also, we put the feelers out for things. There are lots. We're going to. All of that money is already spent, completely already spent. Let's just see. Is there anything? No, there isn't. Yeah, it is completely spent. Wow, we're 8:42 on August morning. We've only been working for a little bit. I don't believe this. Yeah, it's true. Wow. Yeah, we've literally only been going 42 minutes. No, did we start at 7 o'clock? I don't know what time it actually started. If so, we did all of that in 42 minutes real time. No. It took me a lot longer than that. So what time did we actually start? It is true, yeah, because I literally, this is a new farmer start, so I came straight in at August. I don't know what time it starts yet now, because that is quite phenomenal. I'm going to leave it there because I'm waffling. So hopefully, just giving you a bit of backdrop into the state of play of myself. And again, I'm going to be concentrating on quite a few let's plays that most of them are going to be short runs where we do 10 or 12 sessions on that. But I would really like to hear from yourselves about the buying and selling, whether or not it's too much. I think actually hazelnut that I'm putting up there, North German country, they were two of the first. Why have I got Wander on my stick like that? It's a brand new stick. So annoying. Yeah, these were two of the first that I did the buying and the selling, and I put rules in since to sort of limit how much buying and selling I do. To begin with, you've got to do a lot. You've got to do everything because you've got 100,000. Again, I don't have to do the 100,000 start. And if that, I'd just like to hear from you your thoughts on this matter. And I'm I'm never flipped out when anyone, even when someone's been abusive. I've had a couple of comments over the years where someone called me a noob, but I was not a noob at all. A noob channel, I think he said, and quite a few of the channel members said, "Oh, no, take any notice," and I'm not going to. I'm not going to take affront. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Of course, he's a liar because he was. It's not true. To make a statement like that is an insult, but it only is true if it's true, and it isn't. I'm not a new channel, and I was not a new channel when he did that. Strangely enough, that was one of Black Sheep's maps. Yeah, I did that again, and this is what I'm saying. I did things that other people would not do, but I don't apologize for that. I am myself, and yeah, I don't do things the way other people do things, and I'm not apologizing for that because it is me. That's just level that as well. All right, smashing. Yeah, it's true. I don't want to be a carbon copy of Miss CDP. I don't want to be a carbon copy of Daggerwin or Farmer Cop or any of the big names that have got massive channels. I just want to be, otherwise, why would you want to watch my channel if I'm just regurgitating what Mr. CLP does? What do I offer any different to them? I mean, again, the channel's ideals are I show you everything, no holes barred, and all warts and all, and I speed the slow bits up. Usually I've chatted a lot today just to let you know where I am and all the rest of it, but normally I probably would have time-lapsed all of the sequences of work, so as if I'm going to insist on showing everything from start to finish of every farm, that it's done, so it's not too tasteless, that it's quite quick, that I can often squeeze 3-hour sessions into an hour of time where we're sort of doing a bit of chatting at the beginning and a bit of chatting at the end, and in the middle quite a lot of work sequences that are compressed with time-lapsing. So yeah, that's the premise I've done, and I still, again, if I'm got to show everything, which is always been my premise, again, I've step back a little from that on certain work sequences when I've got massive fields and all you would see me do is plough that field. I've started to just not record that section on quite a few Let's Plays now. I don't think anyone particularly cares about me ploughing a massive field and it took an hour, and nobody's going to want to watch an hour of not an hour, it'd be 15-20 minutes. No one's going to watch that 20 minutes. You're going to flick on to the next bit where you chat, or we show something else. So yeah, I understand that too. So I'm working with you on that, even though it sort of goes against the grain of what I stood for originally. I think you've got to evolve a little so that it's more interesting for people to look at. So yeah, I'm going to, on that note, because I've waffled for way too long, I'm going to say my goodbyes. So all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you're going to stick with me on this journey. And I'm going to say goodbye for now.